And just like that, Jamie Future sets EDW on fire.
EDW fans, welcome back to another episode of EDW HQ. I am your host, the voice of EDW, Mr. Simon Brown. My guest for this show, making his debut appearance on EDW HQ, the EDW Insider, Mr. Karl Jones. Karl, pleasure to have you here today, sir.
It's a thrill to finally be on the show.
Exactly. We'll talk about Karl's past, Karl's EDW background a little bit later on. Let's go right into it, guys. At the last show, EDW's Proving Grounds, Edwards defeated Tommy Gunn, retaining his EDW Championship and proving that he is a worthy champion, only to be intercepted by the infamous Jamie Future, goading Edwards into an EDW World Championship match, an impromptu EDW World Championship match that Jamie Future actually won, and he's now our new EDW champion.
I've said this before about Jamie Future. Despite his sort of ring attire and sort of the almost maniacal way he acts at times, he's quite a cerebral character. He preyed on Edwards' integrity, goaded Edwards into a title match. And unfortunately, as they say, pride comes before a fall, and Edwards was goaded, accepted the match, and unfortunately for him, and I guess unfortunately for the fans who love Edwards, we have a new EDW World Champion, and that's Jamie Future.
Well, Karl, I know you have your own opinions on this, but I think right now it's only fair that we hand it over to our new EDW champion, the infamous Jamie Future. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Oh yeah! Vindicated! Vindicated! The most important thing in the world to me is finally mine again. And believe me, there isn't a drug on this earth that feels as good as this does right now. For a guy that said that my world was washed in black, I'm seeing a lot of colours again. Especially lately, and there's a few people I'd like to thank for that. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Edwards. I'd like to thank you for being the biggest phony I've ever met in my entire life. For being the guy to perpetuate the myth that you're the heart and soul of EDW. Meanwhile, you take advantage of a weakened Tommy Gunn at the War to Sell the Score and steal this from him. The same show, the War to Sell the Score, the 10-year anniversary of EDW, and what do you say? You lie to the people that you claim to love. And you tell them that you're the only guy that's been in EDW from the beginning. Well, that's just fine, because at Proving Ground, I exposed you for the lying, sanctimonious prick that you are. Now I hooked your head and I DDT'd you, the best DDT in the business, and I took my belt back. I'd like to thank my Players Club cohort, Tommy Gunn, for his undying support in this situation, and for being able to see the big picture that, hey, it's okay that he failed because I succeeded, and more importantly, I want to thank you. More importantly, I want to thank you, the EDW fans, because the fact is, when I lost this the first time, I went on a little bit of a spree. You see, the fact of the matter is, I ended KO Kid's career. I put Tyler Haas in the hospital 2 times. I made Joey Sanchez's life a living hell. I laid out referees. I low-blowed our commissioner. I was suspended. I was fired. And everybody decided to call me crazy. If it takes a crazy person to see the truth, then you can call me a lunatic, but you call me the first ever EDW champion. Call me the first 2-time EDW World Heavyweight Champion. Call me crazy. but I'm all there is.
You know, this is a business where nothing should really surprise you, but those comments we've just heard from Jamie Future are so asinine. It's just such nerve to question a man's integrity like that.
Okay, okay. Hang on. I think we should, sort of sum up the reason why Karl is here. The fact that you're perhaps getting quite angry about the situation, the fact that you have this situation quite personal to yourself. Karl was actually a wrestler in EDW a long time ago. Like Edwards, like Jamie Future, Karl had actually been in EDW from the very beginning. So he has a unique perspective on this situation, on other situations, which is why it makes Karl the best EDW insider that we have for EDW HQ. He's able to access information that nobody else can access. He has a perspective that nobody else can perhaps gain or gather. So, that is the main reason why Karl is here, and that is the main reason why you're perhaps getting, quite upset and quite frustrated about the situation.
The comments by Jamie Future amount to nothing more than spin. I guess you're being kind to say spin. They're lies. They're just flat out lies. Edwards did take the title from Tommy Gunn in an impromptu match, but both men had been in that gruelling elimination tag match at the War to settle the score. So they were both fatigued, they were both beaten down. Although it was an unannounced match, it was still a level playing field. Whereas Jamie Future, who hasn't been seen since the last man standing match at Double Trouble, has just swooped in like a vulture and almost sort of picked at the carcass and has just goaded Edwards, a man filled with pride when it comes to EDW. He's just goaded him into a match, as I say, by questioning his integrity, calling him a liar, and obviously with Edwards being fatigued, with everything, all the shenanigans that went on with the match, we've got a new champion in Jamie Future. But I just implore the fans just not to be taken in by the comments of Jamie Future, because they're simply not true.
I guess the other key element here as well is the fact that Commissioner Campbell was absent from EDW's Proving Grounds. The match was sanctioned by senior referee Mr. David Mitchell. Both combatants agreed to the match. Obviously Edwards in a pride point of view. Jamie Future goaded him into the situation. And to be fair, shenanigans were involved in that match yet again. A distraction from Templeton Cruz led to Jamie Future hitting a vicious looking DDT on Edwards onto a steel chair, leading to the 1-2-3. Edwards deserves his rematch. Edwards will get his rematch. So at Night of Infamy, when EDW returns to the Hive, August the 31st, it will be the new champion, Jamie Future, defending against now the challenger, Edwards. So at this time, guys, let's hear from the challenger to the EDW Championship. Let's go to see what Edwards has to say about this.
10 years ago, right at the genesis of EDW, right there, a friend, he came over, he said to me, hey, you got to meet this kid, okay? You got to meet this kid. This kid, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got a great personality. You got to meet him. He's fantastic. And he took me to meet him, and the kid was in a field doing something, I can't remember. And he taught me out, and I saw the kid, and I said, that right there, that's EDW, that's potential. And said, I went over, and I turned to the kid, I stuck out my hand and said, welcome to EDW. I made a mistake that day, because that was Jamie Future. And the worst part is that I continued to make it until, well, now, 10 years on. You see, Jamie Future started off with so much potential, but every single time I saw him land a kick, every time he threw a punch, every time he came off that rope, you could see, if you looked closely enough, you could see his ego growing, just that little bit every single time. And you know how much that adds up after 10 years? I made a mistake. And for 10 years, I continued to make that mistake as he just got worse and worse. Now, people can blame Templeton Cruz and the Players Club. Absolutely, blame them all you like. But at the end of the day, I guess that was my mistake, too. I mean, I thought we'd taken out the Players Club, but here they are. They're still here, okay? And now they have the title. They have more than one. And all because I made another mistake. I guess I've been making a lot of mistakes recently. So, now, end of August, coming in on the Hive. I can't afford to make any more mistakes. Jamie Future and I are going to go one-on-one, and we have done this dance so many times. This month, August 31st, the Hive, Night of Infamy. I am going to go in there not as your champion, not as I have been for some time. I'm going in hungry, and I'm going in to banish every regret that I have inside me, to fix every mistake I ever made. I sincerely hope you people can be there to cheer me on, because I'm going to need you. 10 years, everything changes. Everyone changes. I hope I've changed for the better. Well, with the Players Club in his corner, with the EDW title on the line, I made a mistake 10 years ago. But at Night of Infamy, I can't afford another mistake.
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's an absolute travesty that G. John Chase and Davian Vane were not booked on the last show. But look, no, it's alright, just calm down. The business plan's in place. You gotta trust me. I'm in negotiations with Tom Campbell. I'm on hold to him right now. Okay, might have been a little while now, but I'm still on hold to him. You just gotta trust me. You and I are the cornerstone of EDW. We're the reason why everyone turns up. Wait, hold on a sec, bud. That's Campbell on the other end, alright? I'm just gonna have to put you on hold for a moment, alright? Yeah? Yes, I'll get back to you, alright? Love you. Alright, Campbell? Yeah, I'm still here. Did you read the proposal? You did read the proposal, fantastic. So you're gonna go through with it? That's fantastic. Great doing business with you, Tom. He's gone. Vane? Good news, my man. We've got it. Starting from the 31st of August, Night of Infamy, G. John Chase is going to have his very own segment. The G. John Chase Open Invitational Wrestling Exhibition Challenge. Or I might actually call it the G-Spot. Yes, that's going to work amazing wonders for marketing. Yeah, I've got to get back to you, alright, bud? I'll catch you later. Love you. Yes! Breaking records today! Gwen Stacy, here I come!
Welcome back to EDW HQ, guys. Now, speaking of EDW World Title picture, Karl, man, you commented on last month at EDW HQ, Joey Sanchez, obviously looking to achieve one of his personal goals again, get back into the title hunt. He started his quest at EDW's Proving Grounds last show against the former #1 contender for the EDW title, Carnage. Now, he looked to have Carnage beaten, only to be interfered by a man who came from the crowd, posing as a fan, later turned out to be Tyler Hazard, and ultimately wound up in Joey Sanchez and the Carnage match ending in a disqualification. Karl, why is Tyler Hazard getting himself involved in this?
Well, I've spoken to a few people close to Tyler, and I've also spoken to one or two of my sources, and the general perception that I'm getting is that this all seems to go back to Tyler's perception that he's been abandoned by the Commissioner Thomas Campbell. As you know, they were very close friends for a number of years, and Tyler seems to feel that he's just been left in the wilderness, so to speak. Obviously, as we know, he had a world title match with Tommy Gunn going back several months, which unfortunately for him he was unsuccessful in. And he just seems to have grown increasingly frustrated with the fact that he saw other people get title shots and he never got the rematch that he feels he deserved. Now, unfortunately for Joey Sanchez, that seems to involve him. As we know, Tyler attacked Edwards in the past and stole the EDW World title, and it seems that now he's moved on to the next target, which is Joey Sanchez. And it's worth pointing out that these are, again, Edwards and Joey Sanchez are both individuals who have a close relationship with Thomas Campbell as well. Obviously, they were all tag team partners at the war to settle the score. So it does say, it just seems that this has now become a personal vendetta by Tyler Hazard against the Commissioner Thomas Campbell, and Joey Sanchez has unfortunately been caught in the crosshairs.
Now, obviously, as you say, sort of personal vendetta, looking off screen, if you look on certain social networking websites, you can see a war of words between Tyler Hazard and Joey Sanchez. But here at EDW HQ, we managed to catch up with both of them. We have video footage of both of them. So at this time, let's hear from both Tyler Hazard and Joey Sanchez.
Tyler. You know, it's funny, and it always makes me laugh whenever I hear this, that you describe me as the golden boy.
You're just a pawn in this game between me and Tom Campbell, Sanchez.
I know that everyone's saying how Sanchez is going to get back in the title picture.
Do you want to talk about winning the belt again? This isn't revolution. The door isn't swinging round and round. This is evolution. As far as I'm concerned, I'm Charles Darwin.
You want that spot more than anyone.
We're playing snakes and ladders. And whilst you're trying to climb that ladder, I'm the snake that takes you back to square number one.
You know, you've had more shots at the title than anybody, and yet you still lose, because you suck.
You want to think that Tom Campbell is a great man, he's a great leader. Well, you know what, he screwed me over, so I'm going to follow his example, and I'm going to screw you over even worse.
On August 31st, you know, when you ran my head into the ring post, you made it personal. So live at the Hive, I'm personally going to give you the biggest ass kicking of your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of a golden age for the Players Club. Just as I promised last month on HQ, the world title has come home, and it's safely around the waist of Jamie Future. Now, while Tommy Gunn wasn't aware of this plan going into the main event last month, let me reassure you, he is delighted to be sporting Jamie Future 100% of the way in true Players Club fashion. Meanwhile, Joey Starr remains the first, only, reigning and defending Open Champion, and in true spirit of the belt will continue to accept all challenges thrown his way. Except Mark Morgan's, because Mark, you're just not ready yet, son. Keep plugging away and maybe you'll get another shot down the line sometime. Unless you call me Tampon Cruz again, of course, in which case it'll get you nowhere. Which brings us to me. The question is, after managing 3 world champions and the only ever Open champion, what's left for Temp? Well, after much deliberation, I feel it's time I give back to the fans, and therefore I'd like to take this opportunity to announce my candidacy for the role of EDW Commissioner. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Temp, how can you represent us when we've got nothing in common? I mean, we scratch and claw, desperately trying to find our place in the world. Well, you're cool as and simply moonwalk your way through life. Well, let me tell you, I've been pitched my fair share of boners in life too. For instance, on a night out, some women are so intimidated by the way I look, they won't even look at me. Never mind to speak to me, as stupid as that sounds. Anywho, when you're lying in bed next to that pig of a wife, worrying about how you're going to pay the mortgage, just think that in Temp you trust, and vote Cruz in 2012.
Welcome back to EDW HQ. Interesting words there from Templeton Cruz, founder of the Players Club. Now, he's got a lot to laugh about at the minute, having both title belts in their camp, both the EDW World title and the Open title. Speaking of the Open title, Joey Starr was able to retain that belt, defeating the returning Ryan Smile at the EDW's Proving Grounds. Now, the Open title by design is open to everybody. When it was created by Tom Campbell, that was the initial intention. But it seems as if Templeton Cruz and the Players Club have left it open to everybody except Mark Morgan. Now, surely this questions the integrity of the belt if a man is not allowed to challenge for a belt that is deemed as being an open title. What were your views on that, Karl?
Well, so I can't remember a time where a championship in its infancy has been shrouded in such controversy. But it's no great surprise to me that the Players Club have decided to try and duck Mark Morgan in the fashion that they have. He came into the promotion like a house on fire, pushing the now EDW champion Jamie Future to his very limits. He ran the gauntlet in the initial open title contest, only to get screwed out of the belt right at the end by the Players Club. And he's coming off a very impressive win against the talented Zach Gibson.
Also need to raise the question about Templeton Cruz's comments on that video about his potential commissionership status. What do you make of that?
This is news to me. I mean, Templeton Cruz, he must have created this in his own mind. He's campaigning in an election that doesn't exist, for a position that isn't open. But as much as I'd like to mock the lunacy of it all, this is a man who, when he says something, he usually delivers on it. He was on this show last month, sat on this very couch, and guaranteed the EDW World Championship would be back around the waist of a member of the Players Club. And he was 100% right. So as much as I would like to mock what he's just said, I think it's best if we all just approach it with a bit of caution and just wait to see what unfolds, because he's clearly got something in that diabolical mind of his.
For those of you who were here last month, you'd have laid witness to the death of the Dunn brothers here in EDW. But they say as one thing dies, another is reborn. And that was me, delicious Damien Dunn. You see, last time, you dropped me on my head, as everyone else had done. But when it came down to it, I kicked your face off. And now tonight, in singles competition, yeah, you might have done your flips, you might have done all your crazy moves, you might have dropped me on my head numerous amount of times, but when it was all said and done, I won the match. I am the superior Dunn in singles competition. Now everyone says the future is with Pete Dunn, but I want to make sure you're part of my past. See, I've proven myself as the better singles wrestler, so how about I prove that I'm the better tag wrestler? Because in the end, in all those tag matches, it was me. I was carrying your young little ass along. So how about next month, you find somebody to team with, and I'll find somebody who's worthy of teaming with me, and I'll prove to you that I am Mama's favourite Dunn.
What started off at EDW's Double Trouble as a one-off, one-on-one match designed to blow off some steam between these two brothers has actually turned into a bit of a heated rivalry between the two. At Double Trouble, Pete Dunn got the victory over Damien Dunn, which led to Damien essentially snapping in the middle of the ring, super kicking his brother in the face, led to the return match at Proving Grounds that Damien finally got a victory over. By all accounts now it's one apiece, surely, but judging from those words by Damien Dunn, he seems to think that he's got the better of his brother already. So EDW's Night of Infamy, I believe we're going to hear from yourself about this tag situation we've now got unfolding.
Indeed, and I can confirm to you, Simon, and to the EDW fans, that the match has been signed. It's official. On August 31st at Night of Infamy, both Pete and Damien will get to pick a partner of their choosing to square off in a tag team contest. And as you rightly say, the series is tied at one apiece at the moment. As far as who the better singles man is, that debate's still to be had. But we will find out on August 31st who the better tag team wrestler was.
On top of that, guys, we've got a jam-packed card for you August 31st Night of Infamy, culminating in the main event. The brand new EDW champion, the infamous Jamie Future, takes on the former champion Edwards, one-on-one in that main event, guys. August 31st, we'll see you live back down at the Hive. Doors open at 7 PM, show starts at 7:30. You can get all the information on our Facebook page, which will run across the bottom of your screen right now. EDW's Night of Infamy, we will see you there. Karl, thank you for being on this show. Absolute pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you for having
Very
me.
insightful as always, no doubt we'll see you in future months. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you August 31st. Thank you, guys. Take care.